Happy New Year, everybody. I'm recording this on January 7th. We're here today to fix a mistake that I made, and basically you can't use anaerobic sealer or form-in-place gasket to redo the gasket for the cam tower, because that makes your valve lash way too tight. So the paper gasket that you're supposed to put in there is a little bit thicker. You get some tens of thousandths of an inch or so in there, a couple tens of thousandths of an inch. And I did have some valve lash if you go and you watch the previous video, but it was too tight. The good news is I didn't run the engine for very long between doing this repair and now. So what happens when you run the engine all the way up to operating temperature, or you go out and you rip around in it, and everything heats up and the valves get a little bit longer, all the metal expands, and then it takes up what little space that there was in there, and it starts to hold the valves open a little bit. The back side of the cam will just stay on top of the puck and hold constant pressure on it, which translates down to the valve and the valve seat, and you'll eventually get a compression-based misfire. If you don't have time to do it right, when will you have time to do it over? Today. Right now. Yeah. Just taking a close look here. Camshaft still looks good. I mean, that looks like almost like a chip in the video. It's really just a spot of discoloration, or in any case, it's not a chip, but yeah, they all still look okay, you know. I mean, it's got 90,000 miles on it, but looks the same as when I took it apart last time, so that's good. One of the other commenters on the last video was telling me that the oil orifice, the filter, is behind it, not part of it. So here's how I'm getting this out. This is an easy out, or a bolt extractor, if you will. I'm going to prevent it from twisting with the wrench, and I'm going to pry off of, there we go. Gotcha. Now I just have to tap that off of there. But, oh, yep, there goes the wrench into the swimming pool. I don't see anything in there. There's like a shadow of something down in there, but it doesn't look like a mesh filter. It just looks like an end stop for the brass insert, or the oil orifice. Right, I've got the bore scope pointed down the hole, looking for the filter, and I don't see a filter. I just kind of see an end point, like a bottom, well, then there's obviously a hole. So I'm gonna get some welding rod we're just gonna make sure that it passes through pretty deep. Okay, that's where it stops. I guess I should get this. So there's the welding rod all the way in, and yeah, that's I mean, that's quite a bit of, what is that, 5 inches? 5 or 6 inches or so. So I'm gonna say there's no filter behind there. So I'm gonna stick that back in and put the gasket on. Well, clean up the mating surfaces, put the gasket on, and throw it back together. Finally got all of the red anaerobic sealer off of here. That was a bit of a challenge. Got that scraped off and cleaned off in the solvent tank. This side is also cleaned up and ready to go for one of the new gaskets. Alright, there's the new gasket installed. I've got just a little bit of form-in-place gasket back behind here that'll squish out, but I needed something to hold the gasket in place while I get the cam box put back on. Alright, here's the intake and the exhaust. Got 2 intakes here, so intake A spec, valve clearance cold, 0.35 plus or minus 0.04 millimeters. So we're going to use probably between this one and that one. We'll see which one of these fits. Here's what I ended up with for valve lash. In the back, the intake, I put a 0.40 T for tight, and then this one was a 0.40, well, I put a 0.4 and then turned it into an L for loose. Basically, I can't fit the next size up in there, but the 0.40 feeler gauge fits loose in there. So the intake is supposed to be a little tighter than the exhaust, and I'm within the allowable limits. Pretty much the same thing over here, except I could fit the next size up under the exhaust there, so that one got a 0.45 millimeters, and similar story over here, except on that one I get all the way up to the 0.50, which is getting to be a little too loose. The tolerance in the book for the exhaust, so that would be 0.459. So I'm just slightly out of spec on that front one, but I'm gonna roll it. So it's rolling a little loose on that front exhaust valve. The other ones are okay in spec. Alright, back up and running again. Alright guys, now that it's fixed, there's an important question that needs to be answered. Can it do a burnout? Cannot misbehave in this car, because if you go to show off, you'll where to go. This is a piece of my So for today, no, it cannot do a burnout. It'll just fucking break, and then you need to buy another new part from Lenny at Auto Italia. Hey buddy, if you're watching this, I need an accelerator cable.